Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss death. It's something humanity regularly has on their minds. So what is death? And why do so many fear it? Why is it considered the end? Why do different cultures view death so differently? So death is commonly referred to as a moment in time when the physical body can no longer support life, whether this be from trauma, organ failures, or extreme chemical imbalances. I'm going to be blunt right here in the beginning. I'm not going to falsely glorify something that is not perfection. Death is a release from a form we have destroyed. The slow destruction of the temple we have been entrusted with is not so-called natural. The body's dissolution after 60, 80, or 100 years is not natural. It seems so from our extremely limited perspective. But it is entirely a result of misuse of free will and accepting false concepts of life that are part of humanity's collective consciousness permeating the atmosphere. I am not saying that upon awakening you just immediately will stop aging or any nonsense like that. But I am trying to get a point across. The power of some of humanity's false concepts like death and aging are an immense pressure upon the collective consciousness. It's not easily repelled, but some have done so throughout the centuries. And if one can do it, all can do it. Remember, all the false concepts we hold during embodiment are all a form of vibration, destructive vibration. And destructive vibration does not produce a healthy physical form or mindset. Even science is discovering more and more about the body's ability to regenerate itself and the agelessness of the cellular structure. If that is the case, then the only way to age and deteriorate is by absorbing a relentless stream of poisonous vibration. Global habits of tens of thousands of years in the making are hard to break. So-called death is a time of rest, of processing our experience, a preparation for the next embodiment, with the goal of eventually raising the body into physical perfection through Ascension. Until that time, our old bodies can be purified by flame through cremation, ideally. Sticking it in the earth only plugs the planet with a lump of negative vibes. So the primary error here is most individuals never come to terms with or understanding that the body is not them. What they are is separate from the body. People close to death have out-of-body experiences all the time. Some talk about it, some don't. People have out-of-body experiences during sleep fairly regularly. Most of this we call dreaming. What we are is not tied to the body, even though it is somewhat convincingly seems so. People spend a majority, if not all their time, absorbed in societal norms and status quo behaviors, never once questioning the meaning of their embodiment or purpose of life. And then, when some emergency happens to startle them out of their zombie-like existence for a moment, do they even slightly consider the bigger questions? But most of the time they just go to a doctor, pop some pills, and go back to some routine, totally accepting that the body is supposed to get old and will start breaking down. This acceptance is a fatal error. This is the sheep-like quality of general human behavior, of just following the herd, whether to green pastures or off a cliff. There is so much more to life than those that question. There is so much more to life, and those that question will be rewarded. And the deeper you go, the more truth you demand, the more will be revealed. So what we are is something greater than the body. This consciousness is the greatest mystery of all creation. There is no limit to the things it can ponder or conceive of. The ideas that pop into our heads come from somewhere, and it's not the noodle between our ears. The brain is just like a coiled, complex antenna. Consciousness temporarily resides there, but is not limited to its hotel room, though it seems so, since all of our physical senses collect and process there. The brain is capable of attuning to various frequencies, though, with training and development. While we're on this talk of brains and ideas, I want to dissolve another false concept. That you just come up with some new and fresh idea. Almost every idea that you think you just stumbled on has been thought before. Since we should know now that thought, feeling, and the spoken word are the creative power of consciousness, then we also remember that all these things collect in the vibratory record of the planet. The planet's history is long. Great civilizations have come and gone, some which were much greater than we are currently experiencing. Great masters have come and gone as well, as all kinds of technology. But it's all here in the planet's record still. What is actually occurring is that by thinking about a problem or wanting a solution to something, puts your consciousness into a receptive state, which in turn puts the brain's antenna into attunement mode. There are different parts of the brain, of course, that serve different functions and attunements, but all ideas are vibration. So therefore you literally end up tuning into a cosmic database of sorts and can download all kinds of interesting ideas. Some are more naturally gifted at this than others, but everyone does it every single day, more or less. At some point when you graduate and ascend, you might actually come up with an original idea and blessing for creation. But while we're here still on Earth, it's more than likely this new idea has been done before. So I have digressed away from the discussion of death, but it really all ties in. The body is a gift and a tool for expression while participating in this classroom. It is to be respected, treated well, and kept fit, but most certainly not made to consume a large portion of our daily attention. There is so much higher work to be done and more important uses for one's attention. All the fear about death is so misplaced. Death needs to be considered like changing one's clothes. Do we cry about or get scared when going into our closets every morning? It's really no different. And when our loved ones pass on from their current embodiment, it should be a celebration of joy that they are released from the torment of the body's suffering temporarily, to go to a place of rest and peace before trying again to get a diploma. It's quite often a mercy. Now I'm going to say something that will be controversial, but it needs to be said nonetheless. The concept of missing someone is so terribly selfish and naive. Number one, the vibration of mourning is so self-destructive. It is an absolute abomination of a feeling to express to one's own self, but also pouring that vibration into the atmosphere is most disgusting. Number two, no one goes anywhere when they leave the body. They are with us always. They will be back, and so will you. And eventually, when you both graduate, you will be in eternal service together if you so choose. I know some of this may sound harsh and insensitive, but vibration is mathematical in its action, and surely you don't want to further damage yourself, others around you, or your environment. There are so many habitually destructive behaviors of mankind to cleanse. When you start down your true path, your eyes will begin to see all the foolishness we need to remove and purify. Just looking out at life across the planet can be amazing. Looking at different cultures and peoples and belief systems from all over the world, and you can discover small examples of truth being demonstrated. Tidbits here and there when you have eyes to see. It can all be taken in as further encouragement, a small encouragement against the tide of humanity's madness they perpetuate daily. There is a definitive reason how certain persons in history could maintain a physical form for multiple centuries. Physical degradation is a result of wrong concepts of life and acceptance of the accumulated vibratory action in the atmosphere. The closer we are to embodying the fullness of the truth, the easier it becomes to maintain a perfect physical form that radiates love and deep understanding. Archaeology discovered little bits of truth, almost like something is leaving us a breadcrumb trail home. Have you seen the Sumerian list of kings? A collection of stone documents depicting names of ancient rulers and the term of their reign. The most ancient kings on this list had reigns of tens of thousands of years, and the longevity of the subsequent rulers slowly got less and less until it reached what we would say would be a normal duration of a decade or two. I see this as a clear, slow degradation of the people's consciousness over a long period until the civilization collapsed and became dust. There are various accounts of extremely long-lived individuals to be found in other archaeology and religious texts, some even in the Bible. A lot of it just gets swept under the rug and ignored, or called inaccurate accounting. But it's all there if we look at the bits and pieces pointing us to the truth. So there is nothing to fear from death. It is not real or lasting. It's like the last bell of school being rung before we go on summer break. Then we start up school again in the fall. We always have new clothes for the new school year, right? Appreciate the break when it comes. But remember, it's only a function. Its only function is to give us a breather on the way to graduation. Thank you.